Happy Wednesday. I am pleased to be here to talk to you guys a little bit about our hymn of the day for this Sunday, which is the 5th Sunday of Easter at Grace Lutheran Church. Our hymn is number 713 in the Lutheran Service Book. It's called From God Can Nothing Move Me. And to talk about this hymn, I first want to talk about our readings for this Sunday, two of our readings. Our epistle reading comes from Revelation, and our gospel reading comes from John. And both of these readings have to do with joy. And really with living in the joy of God. The Revelation passage is the one that says that in the New Jerusalem at the end of this age, we will have no more sorrow, no more tears, no more pain, only joy and eternal dwelling with God in heaven. Well, in the new heavens and the new earth. And then our reading from John talks about joy and being with God, but now, here on this plane. Jesus is teaching his disciples before his arrest and his crucifixion, and he says to them that in the days to come they're going to have some sorrow, but that once Jesus returns after his resurrection, that sorrow will be turned to joy, and no one will be able to take that joy from them. No one will be able to take the joy from them. From God can nothing move me. Right? We see kind of this idea of permanence, right, and steadfastness in our readings for this week, and also then in our hymn for this week. And I think one of the things that we might be tempted to do when we hear the title of this hymn, when we read that last line from the Gospel of St. John, is to think of ourselves as the person who's in charge of being steadfast and immovable, right? From God can nothing move me. Nobody can take my joy away from me. We kind of put ourselves in the place of that actor. But what I wanted to say about our hymn of the day for this week is that we should be careful that we don't think that way. Actually, in the very first line of our hymn, we get the point of what the hymn writer is saying, but also the point of everything that Scripture points us toward when it comes to our relationship between wandering sheep, the people of God, and the Good Shepherd, who is Jesus. Very first verse here says, "From God can nothing move me. He will not step aside." All 7 verses of this hymn are not verses that focus on the work that we do to remain steadfast and firm in our faith. They're on the work that God does to keep us steadfast and firm in our faith. And it's not that we don't do things, right? We do. We come to church, we read our Bibles, we keep ourselves in communication with God as we live lives of prayer, and all of those things are good and they help to keep us close to Him. But when it comes to the most important actor in our relationship with God, I think about the difference between God being, right, like a cliff, and we use our human hands to cling to Him and try not to fall to our deaths like we're in some action movie, and then comparing that or contrasting that with the image of God as the hands, and not hands that cling to the edge of a cliff, but hands that hold us from beneath. And I know that I feel much more secure if God is the one doing the work. God is the one who is steadfast and immovable. He is the one who won't let anything, right, move us away from Him. Absolutely, we do things to keep ourselves in right relationship with God. But don't forget about the great comfort that comes from the knowledge that even when you are that wandering sheep, even when you are the person who turns away, He's still working to keep you close to Him. With God as the actor, we have that joy, right? That eternal dwelling joy that we can only receive through His steadfast love and through His faithfulness to us. So I'm going to link a video of this hymn, and you guys can take a look at it this week and live in that knowledge that God is doing work to keep you close to Him. And we will see you on Sunday.